Cruises can be tough, I'll say. I've done 8 myself, and they can be a little tough. But it's what we do, it's what we signed up to do. We serve the nation, and while the day of deployment can be a rough one for everybody, the day when you return, having successfully completed service to our nation, done the job you signed up to do, I think everybody is very proud. It's a day you'll remember for the rest of your lives out there. So the goal tonight is to give you some thoughts, some ideas, some things that if you accomplish those here before you go, you'll set yourself and your family up for success while you're gone. It is important that our sailors deploy, knowing their families are well taken care of back here, so they're not distracted at sea. They know you're doing fine back here and they can do the job they've signed on to do. So please ask your questions, pay attention tonight. We're here to help you get set up to successfully deploy with us here in the near future. Again, welcome aboard to all of you. Please enjoy the food and beverages that the supply officer has put out for us tonight. We didn't quite anticipate this many. It's great to see so many. Again, welcome aboard, and I'm going to turn it back over to CNC.
Thank you very much, Captain. There's one rule tonight. No question. If you have a question, just ask. This mic will float around. Ask your question so everyone can hear. Don't be shy about your question, okay? So up first, we have the Fleet and Family Support Center.
All right, so my name is Kendra. I'm down here from Fleet and Family Support Center. A little bit of background about myself. I've been a Fleet and Family Support Center employee for about 3 years, primarily in the Deployment Readiness Department. But beyond that, where my experience really comes from is being a Navy spouse. So I've been a Navy spouse for almost 14 years. My husband is not on a Navy ship like this. He's on one of our lovely little service ships, and he's done 6 deployments over his 10 years at sea. So, that's where I go back. So we're going to go through my PowerPoint, as Steve said. If you have questions, if I'm not talking loud enough, if something, anything you have, want to say, go ahead. I'm more than happy to talk about it. So, can I have my next slide? Okay, my next one. Thank you. All right. So, how the plan is what we're going to talk about first. It's very important to have a plan and think about certain things. So, we're going to talk about that. We have some checklists over on our table, and then we do a 40 document. But they're just general things that we want you to think about before you leave. So, one of the big things that we'll talk about, and it's going to be talked about tonight, is making sure your family has correct information, and we'll go in more later. Storage. How many of you guys are thinking about storing your personal items or your car? Okay, quite a few. Have you already looked into it? Because if you haven't, I strongly encourage you to reach out to NWR and already start doing that. There's a reason. Our NWR storage is some of the cheapest around, but it also fills up very quickly. So I want you to keep that in mind as you go forward. So call them. If you need their number, please let us know. We're more than happy to tell you where to find it. We're provided and set up flyers for us. ID cards. What's one thing a military spouse cannot do without the sailor or his sailor? An ID card, right? Because that's what I'm talking about. Any of you walk into the ID card lab and try to get an ID without their spouse or their sailor? Anyone? I've done that twice. I know, I was trying the first time, right? No, I thought the second time I was smarter. I had a power of attorney. I had all the paperwork. And they wouldn't take a general power of attorney. And they'll talk about that tonight. And they wouldn't take my paperwork because it was a photo copy. So, long story short, I ended up having to write all this down. So please make sure if your ID card is expiring during the deployment, go and get it done before. There's a few things that you lose if you no longer have an ID card. That, of course, is medical benefits. You still have them, but you no longer have an ID card to prove that you have them. So please make sure that you have a plan should you lose it, or it expires while it's on, or you yourself are military member and have to replace it. And then important documents. What am I talking about? Important documents. about repeatedly for a very good reason, because it's super important. So OPSEC, you guys have NCIS here. I'm not going to steal her thunder, I'm not going to steal her brief. So just keep in mind, someone's going to talk about that. So what is River City? Anyone? I think I heard it. Communications go down, right? So they're taken down. Keep in mind, River City is not a place. I actually had a coworker who had been a Navy spouse for 15 years. Her husband was an IT, and she did not realize that River City was a communications issue, like that they had gone down. She didn't know that. So there's things that family members don't know, and that's okay. But remember, if someone says they're in River City, it doesn't mean a port. It means that the communications are set at a certain standard, and your sailor is receiving your emails, but they aren't able to email you. So don't start that email fight. Don't do it. We all know. You haven't emailed me in 3 days. Why not? There's a reason. All right, so care packages, make sure you get the complete mailing address. I've actually had at least 2 family members that I've dealt with over the past 10 years that have asked me if they needed to include their sailor's name on the box. My answer is always yes, so please do. But please make sure you're getting the complete address. That's the postal code plus the 4. So that lovely, whatever, 5-digit code plus the 4 numbers at the end. That's very important. It won't get to them without that. So that complete mailing address, including whatever specific information you need. So is there more than one Petty Officer Smith on board? Maybe. So make sure the department, the division, whatever, I'm sure someone else is going to talk about it. So keep that in mind. If you're mad, if you're concerned, and you know your email sounds a little, maybe you shouldn't send it, don't send it. Sit on it for 24 hours. Don't start an argument over email. It's not a fun way to do it. It's a difficult time already, and it adds stress because you're upset maybe that they haven't emailed you in a week. Doesn't help. So sit on it, type it up, put it in your drafts, think about it. And then if you're still feeling that you need to send it the next day, then send it. But at least sit on it for a little while. We always encourage you to send mail. We definitely encourage you to send pictures. Just be careful. Don't overwhelm the ship with pictures. But we do want you to send pictures, both of you. So if you're able to, as a member on board the ship, send home pictures of your port, of you doing stuff, make sure you do. They want to see it too. All right, so bad news. That's the big one. No one wants to get bad news. And I can definitely assure you, no one wants to get bad news over email. So please make sure to utilize the resources that are going to be talked about tonight in order to deliver any type of bad news that you need to. Make sure you give that information. I dealt with a spouse earlier today, actually it was a sister, who called me because she couldn't find her brother. She couldn't find him, and their brother had passed away. So she called me. We went through that whole, like, what's his email address? What does his Facebook say? We were able to find the name of the ship and get her in contact, but it doesn't happen that way. So keep that in mind. Make sure all that information is there. All right, and your command ombudsman, you have 5. Am I right? 5? They're here tonight. You're going to hear from them as well. They're an important contact plan for you as well. Go ahead. All right, so parents. I'm not talking about your parents, although those are important too. Those of you that are parents, keep in mind your children, regardless of age, are going to miss you, and they're going to be stressed. So have a plan. Send them emails just to them. Send them mail. Include them. And make sure as a spouse here at home or whoever is the caregiver that you keep the same rules, the same routine. Just because dad or mom isn't home doesn't mean that they get to stay up until midnight if that's outside of their normal routine. So keep that in mind. Make sure you talk to their school. When they go back to school, talk to their teacher. Let them know. So if something a little different is happening at school, you already have the heads up and you can talk to them and figure out a new plan. Find a mentor. It's huge. The Big Brother and Sister Foundation that we have here, well, it's everywhere, they have a military child mentoring program as well. So they'll pair them up with a military member in order to help them. Utilize something like that. Talk to the people sitting next to you. Sometimes that's your best resource. Go ahead. All right, so I'm almost done with my PowerPoint. That's what that means. It's a good thing, right? All right, so we want you guys to have a plan. Think about the things that are talked about tonight. If it gets to be too much for you, if you aren't sure where to start, you have tons of resources. You have your Ombudsman, you have Whalen family, you have the Red Cross, you have United, you have all of us to ask questions of, not just today, but we're happy to answer your questions at any time. So keep that in mind. If something comes up, pick up that phone and ask that question. Reach out to somebody. You're not by yourself. Because how many people are on board this ship? A lot. So you have plenty of people in the same situation. And keep in mind, this isn't the only ship deploying. You have ships deploying with you. We have 3 ships deploying Friday. There's a lot of family members and a lot of people in our community that are going through this as well. So reach out and ask the question. But always be prepared. All right, go ahead. My last one is our lovely locations, which we don't need to see. So if you guys have questions, if you want to know where our locations are, we have plenty of resources on our table, and please stop by. Thank you.
Our Fleet and Family Support Centers, and they're located at table number 2 on your left. So please do visit them. If you're still looking for a seat, I have some on my left, and there's plenty on my right. Okay, up next I'm going to introduce to you someone that's going to be very important to all of you. So take out your pen and take this information down. I'm going to introduce you to 5 ladies. They're all over Facebook, they're on the internet. All you have to Google is Carl Vinson, and you will see their smiling faces. So you heard Fleet and Family Support Center talk about the Ombudsman. Well, here they come. They'll tell you what they do. They represent Carl Vinson when we're gone. Miss Tara, Halva, Kimberly, Val, and Cammie. I'll do it one more time. Miss Tara, Halva, Kim, Valerie, and Cammie.
Hi everyone, we are your Command Ombudsman. We are just right over there. I just want to talk to you guys real quick about the newsletter. We send it out once a month. It has a lot of really good resources in it and releasable information that pertains to the ship. By releasable information, we mean things that the command has told us, you can put this out. We cannot release port calls or dates. That is not something that we're able to do through social media or through our newsletter until we're within that 24-hour window. You'll get that information directly from your sailor or from somebody else that you know that has already gotten that information in person. So as always, OPSEC is a really good thing to abide by. So there's this little sheet that we have over at our table. It's also in the folders that we've been handing out. Your sailor can fill this out tonight and bring it over to us. Sailors, you can add as many people as you want to our newsletter distribution list. If they are important to you, they are very important to us. We send it out once a month, but this does have to be filled out either tonight and turned into us, or you can send us the information that's on this sheet from your CBN 70 email account. It cannot come from Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail. It has to come from your ship's email account. Again, you can sign up as many people as you want, mom, dad, brother, sister, aunts, uncles, grandparents, girlfriends, boyfriends, whoever you want. We don't care how many people you sign up, we will add them to our list. If they are important to you, they are important to us. It's a really good thing to have, especially while you guys are deployed. So I'm going to pass the mic on to Kim now. Also in your packets, you will have found a magnet. On this magnet, we have our website where you can find us, you can find all of our information. We also have our Facebook page. On there, you are more than welcome to message us, and we will get back to you there. On that one, we update that once a day, several times a day. It's a wonderful tool for you to use as well as your family members who are on Facebook.
So now that you know how to reach us, does everybody know what an ombudsman is or what an ombudsman does? So an ombudsman is a volunteer that's appointed by the commanding officer, and we serve as liaisons between the families and the command. Any issues that may arise, any questions that you have about the command, about Navy life, about PCSing, about deployment, give us a call and we'll do our best to help you. We all have cell phones, we all have email addresses, and as mentioned, we have our Facebook page and our website, so there's no shortage of ways to get in touch with us. One of the great things that sets us apart from other programs is we're 100% confidential. Any questions that you bring to us, any concerns, anything at all, completely stays with us. So you can rest assured that anything that you feel is sensitive or even not sensitive, it never goes beyond our team. So thank you very much, CMC. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, once again, let me make sure you know the faces. It's Tara, wave high. You get to walk around in front so they can see you. Go ahead. That's Halva. I want to show you off to the crew. There's Kimberly. Wave as you go. Valerie.
I know I'm last. Thank you.
And Cammie. Remember this, folks. Whatever you discuss with them is between you and them, and then it gets passed to the command. I need you to take out your pens at this time and write this number down. 877-829-3016. That is 877-829-3016. That is the number to our care line. Guess what? You will hear the voice of one of these ladies on our care line telling you, hello, Carl Vinson families. They're doing great out at sea. They're expected to be in Hong Kong tomorrow. Call the number if you need to know what's going on. Thank you, listeners. Here's table number 4. Did you get the number? 877-829-3016. I hope you got it. Okay, here we go.